Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another bonus episode of the 5 to 9 Job podcast. I am your host, Raymond, and today's bonus episode is going to be business as usual. First, I'm going to give you an update, and then we'll go into the thoughts and anecdotes I've had this week. So starting with the updates, it's been, I should say, a more reflective couple of weeks. I have a few notes that I have taken away from this week that I definitely can't share in this episode. Like, I can't share all of them, but they will definitely be appearing in most of the episodes that are going to be coming forward. But it's been a really good week to just sort of reflect and just journal. I usually do this whole thing where I journal towards the third day. So if it is first, second, third, fourth, fifth, around that time, I try to get a day that is closer to the weekend within third, and I just set out a day or two or a few hours, at least 8 hours, to just keep reviewing the past month, plan for the next month, and just reflect and have that sort of exercise. So I'm just off the back of that, and I am feeling zen, let me say. I feel like a monk. Anyway, it's just been a good week to just reflect on a few thoughts, and I feel like I have grown so much, and those are the things that literally encourage me to keep going with this podcast, even when it's not doing as much as well as I expected it to, even when the business is not doing as well as I expected it to. It's all, me having these high expectations, yes, that I know are valid, that I know I will not be comfortable having less, pressure on myself. But I mean, when you look at the journey overall or in the long run, you see that there is definitely growth. So that is at least the one thing I took away from the reflection that I am happy with. And this week has just been so productive. I feel like I am changing into, a finer version of myself that is more productive, that is more in tune with doing the things that I say I'll do. Although I still have a few areas I dropped the ball in, I'm still actually trying to get better, but I know I am taking the right steps in the right direction. Anyway, yeah. Also, an update with life and general. I finally coded my first website, like fully coded it, launched it onto the server, and then put it online, and it is just live. So this was a journey that took me, learning a lot from the JavaScript. Okay, I did a HTML, CSS, JavaScript website. Yes, basic. I have been learning Node.js and Next.js and everything, and yes, I will do those other advanced frameworks later, but it was a real journey starting the project and then to this point whereby it is live, and whenever I feel like I want to smile, you guys, this is literally it. Whenever I feel like I want to smile, I just go to my browser, I type in the URL, I look at it, and I'm like, yeah, you definitely did this. And I think we need to have this culture more with the creators that we have with the podcast. That is definitely something I should be doing. I mean, I should just be once in a while going onto my podcast page, and I'm like, because I literally have like 60 episodes right now out. How many people actually have 60 episodes on their, I don't know, platforms? Yes, I should say, regarding the fact that I don't have a lot of listeners, yes, it's still a personal achievement that I can always look up to, I am proud of, and I can get motivation from. So I don't know, I just want to incorporate that more into my lifestyle. Okay, and then another one is I was experimenting with Sora. So ChatGPT just made Sora, I think, more accessible to us who are on the free tier. And wow, you guys, ChatGPT is mad. It's mad. It's becoming indispensable. It's that example of a really sticky product that when people use it, they start to use it every day. You recommend it to everyone else, and it just becomes a part of your life. I mean, the speed at which AI is becoming a part of my life, I literally use ChatGPT and Claude every day, every single day. Even just today, I used Claude, I used ChatGPT. I have 4 ChatGPT accounts. You guys don't judge me. I have one for the podcast just because I want to personalize that GPT for that exact task. So I have one for the podcast, I have one for the business, I have one for personal things, and then I have one for the fourth one is general. Yeah, the fourth one is general, but it's also more of personal. Yes, personal brand, but more of a general one. The first one I got, and then the one that is personal is just like is literally strategies and things like that. I have said a lot to that GPT. It knows so much about me. And that is also the other fear about when you're using these AI systems, how much information you're actually giving them and how much they retain. Because man, these things actually know a lot about us. For the one I use for the business, it knows a lot about the business, the kind of strategies we are using, and it could literally feed this information to anyone else. They're using it to train their models, and it's just crazy how much information I'm giving out. But at the end of the day, it is a product that helps you think, that increases your productivity, that actually helps you to. I mean, I have gotten a lot of value from using ChatGPT, that it outweighs the risk of some of this information. But obviously, when I am dealing with sensitive information, I don't do that. So you actually need to be careful for that. But anyway, I've just been playing with Sora. I was trying to do shorts. So for all of you that know, I don't do a lot of video for the podcast, and for the shorts, I usually have a static image at the back, which has become a problem because it's monotonous for everyone that is watching the shorts to see a picture. They're not seeing the video. It doesn't move as well as the real video shorts. So I was trying out to do video backgrounds for the shorts or for the audios, so that the video is playing in the background, and it is something interesting that people will actually be engaged by, instead of just having a static image that people just click off. Because you see, if you have noticed on TikTok, on IG, sometimes someone will play an audio to a video that is not necessarily related, but just because there is something playing in the background and there is value in the audio, it actually maintains your attention better than if it was just a static image that is not changing. There is value in the audio, yes, but you are more likely to scroll up to the next one. You get it? So I'm just trying to jump over that hurdle somehow with Sora. But anyway, we will see what the results are and how everything works out. And then back to the updates with the cash crunch. Yes, I am still feeling the struggle, but I'm not compromising my values and integrity. And it's been a real, I should say, journey on knowing that, yes, you are meanwhile trying to chase your dreams, trying to do all these things, but you are in the middle of a cash crunch down that no one else on the outside can see, apart from the guys listening to this podcast, of which very few of my friends listen. I would say none of my friends listens to the podcast. Or I am just very naive in thinking out of the whatsoever people that are listening to these podcasts every day. One of them is not my parents or one of my close friends. But yeah, it's just been so interesting to know that you are chasing all this, you are trying to do all this, you are every day getting home or getting away from home, going and trying to make things happen, grinding, not coming back with anything, but you still need to, perform. You need to be there for family, you need to be there for friends, you need to be towards, you can't avoid, you can't just neglect your responsibilities. But at the same time, no one, men, we are less, I should say, disposed to sharing that. But me, I am even more less disposed to sharing that. But anyway, otherwise, life-wise, in other subjects, health, I'm doing generally okay, off the back of a few headaches and back pain, but that's nothing more exercise and aerobics can't fix. But I am pushing on well. The podcast is going on well too. We reached, I think, 400 listeners a week back. I think I checked before I did this whole reflection. 400 listeners on Spotify alone. So in about 60 episodes, something like that. But I don't know how many of those are actually like listeners, because I think out of those 400, I think I'm like 100 of them are probably me. But I mean, don't judge me. Yeah. But anyway, it was just a good milestone to hit, and I'll still celebrate it. Yeah. So please clap for me. I am also trying to be more consistent on the socials. I mean, ever since Apple started, the TikTok has been on fire. I posted every single day. And I think that will continue to be the case, just because I have a lot of content coming out. So for context, when I release an episode today, I release an episode Friday, I release an episode Wednesday, Monday. So those are 3 episodes a week. From those 3 episodes, if let me say they're an average of 20 minutes, that means I can get at least 4 shots from those episodes. 4 shots per episode means I have 12 shots every week that I am getting. That means even if I posted a shot a day, I still have an extra 5 that I am not utilizing. So I'm just trying to get all that backlog out. And then what I am doing is I'm posting a shot every day. And then for the video podcasts, I am also posting them. So you'll see days whereby I'm posting twice, you'll see days where I'm posting once, but at least on every day there is content going out. Just because I don't want to keep this to myself. I know there is a lot of value that I'm sharing, or I don't want to be scared. I want to just jump over that fear. So I hope you guys have liked the Friday episode so far, just because I made a shift to bring back the guests. I hope you guys are liking the content on TikTok and IG. I hope you are liking the podcast itself. And I guess we'll just go on from there. The content, the visuals, everything. It's all been a journey, but I mean, that's what podcasting is all about. That's what growth is all about. So without further ado, let's go into our next segment. So the first segment we have here, or the second segment after the updates, is the creator of the week. So this week's creator of the week is Solomon Chimera. So this guy is a TikToker, but his videos are captivating, and like, really, this guy is very good. You know, these are one of the only Ugandan TikTokers that I follow that I will actually watch the video to the end, simply because, one, his videos tell a story. Like some of them, or actually most of them tell a story. Even when he's doing advertising, he's like Uncle Mo. Have you seen Uncle Mo's advertising clips on TikTok, IG, or YouTube and everywhere? Leave the comedy sketches that he does when he is advertising for Guinness, when he's advertising for Airtel. They are interesting to watch. I mean, that is what good advertising is. Chimera, when he's doing things for the dental, you know, he has been doing a nice, I think, should I call it a project with Kiss condoms? Yeah, so those videos have also just been good to watch. The gaslighting video whereby he was found with condoms on him after visiting his girlfriend. That was a very good video. You guys, that video was so well produced. The script was nice. The graduation video, the way he was able to tell the story without actually saying anything, but you could relate with the story simply because I also graduated recently. So I literally know what the hassle of hustling for a job, having this whole momentous occasion where you are celebrated for graduating, and then you're hit with the fact that you don't have a job even after you went through all that. Your parents have invested all that, and well, it's just good. The production is good, the scripts are well written, and he collaborates. He's one to be out there and share his platform. He's not afraid of that. So definitely go and check him out. Follow him. He is authentic. He uses his own name. That's another good thing. So you guys just go search Solomon Chimera, follow him on all his social platforms. You guys, let's make this guy blow up. He is a really good creator that deserves the global stage, literally. So, okay. Otherwise, going into the third and last segment, which is actually the longest one, that is thoughts I have been having and anecdotes. So the first one is why is it lonely at the top? So I think I finally understand why, or what they mean when they say that it's lonely at the top. And I don't mean to say that I have reached the top in any way, but just looking at it and reflecting on it, this is what I think it is. You get it? So, in other words, this is my opinion on something I've not yet experienced, but you guys are going to be kind enough to listen to me. Okay? So, let's go. When you are at the top, there are very few people you can actually go to for advice, for help, that really want you to keep winning, that will genuinely care, that will give you advice that is actionable, that will help you, that can be with you not because of what they get. You just sort of end up dealing with things alone when you are at the top. What I'm trying to say, or what I am trying to understand from this whole thing of it's lonely at the top, there are very few people you can go to for help. There are very few people you can go to for advice. There are very few people that are genuinely wishing for you to win. There are very few people that are willing to help you without wanting to get anything in return. People are in fact always coming to you for help, when you are at the top. But, who do you turn to? You, when you need help, who do you turn to? So this reflection is just for those that are ambitious. If you want to be great, just prepare yourself, because it gets lonely and maybe it will be different for you. But this is what I have observed. This is what I've seen. And that's what I'm starting to prepare myself for. Because you see, you need to be in the right mental state when we are on the climb. Let me say for my own example. When I was starting this podcast, I had a mentor. Andrew was guiding me through the whole process. You guys, the day I opened the podcast channel, I redirected all the RSS feeds, the first poster, the descriptions, what. Andrew literally walked me through the entire process. You get it? But let's say, let's give an example of the Ugandan Boy Talk Show. I'm not going to pretend to know what kind of production team he has and everything, but I'm going to say that it is going to be the fact that when he wants advice, there are very few people okay, considering he's not in Uganda, but if he was in Uganda, there are very few people in Uganda he would go to for advice. Just because the circle keeps getting smaller, the better you become. Because if you're chasing something greater, there are very few people, or it makes less sense to go to the people below you to ask for advice. And there will be people who will have a different argument for this, but it is the fact. Studio cannot come to me for advice on something unless it is my expertise. You get it? But I will definitely go to Studio for advice. I mean, if Studio started talking, I would shut up. I would switch this microphone to him. I would record that entire episode and air it here and boost. And I mean, I would make sure all of you heard what he said. You get it? Just because he's at the top. But there wouldn't be a lot of value he would get from listening to this podcast right now. But I definitely do want to get him to listen to this one day. And that all just comes with the kind of value that I am presenting. But anyway, the point is when you are at the top, there are very few people you can go to. There are very few people who just genuinely want to help you without wanting anything. And in most cases, people are coming to you. So who do you turn to? And you just need to be careful not to underestimate how lonely it can be there when you are trying to be ambitious and everything. So that was number one. And then number two is it was just a realization. So the note I have is the day I realized I worked too much. So it was a nasty scenario I'm not proud of, but it actually happened, you know. Sometime my mom called me to ask me if I was going to work on a day when my friend had lost his dad. And I knew I was a workaholic. Like, trust me, I get home sometimes and I just want to continue working. I know I am a workaholic. But at the time, it really seemed out of context that that's how people perceived me. Okay, not out of context, but it just, I don't want to say hit me hard, but it hit me hard to know that this is how people perceive me to be. That I would be not so insensitive, but I would want to work even on a day when a friend of mine was going through a very shitty day, you know, that I wouldn't want to be off, that I wouldn't want to support them. I mean, it's completely unjustifiable to do that. And I know there are people who genuinely love what they do. And sometimes it's just circumstance. You can't be there to, let me say, help a friend that is going through something. You can't be there for the birth of your own kids just because of work. Yes. But wow, I mean, I don't really want that to be me because, you know, I have listened to so many wise guys talk. Okay, wise guys is so out of context, but I've listened to a lot of successful people talk and they say the grind is necessary when you're getting to the top, but the one thing you regret at the top is that you didn't spend enough time with your family, with your friends, you aren't there. You get it? And Patrick Betatore, there was an interview I listened to actually yesterday where he said that, you know, it's a whole facade, this whole thing of work-life balance. It doesn't exist when you're trying to be or build a great business, you know? Like the time he was building his businesses and he said he built for a total of 20 years when he couldn't come back to play with his family when he wanted to, when debts were on him and he had to think about how do I survive and still keep everything going. And when you're in that sort of mental frame, it is very hard for you to, you know, appreciate the small things like your family and your friends. And yes, you turn into a workaholic. But I mean, for me, I am still 24. I should be able to leave work and go be with someone when they are, you know, in something. And I definitely get where these guys perceive that from. I mean, last year, I think I only got off work like for leave for like 3 days. And unofficially, like all the days I rested would have been less than like 2 weeks in the whole month because I mean in the whole year because I was working Saturdays and even on Sundays are tennis days. So literally you can look at a schedule whereby I'm working Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And then on Sunday, I'm not at home. I am literally playing tennis and catching up with all these other, visiting friends, what, things like that. So I had this whole schedule whereby even for Easter I didn't go. I wasn't home for Easter. I went for Christmas on like 24th, and by 25th I was already back. And it's just because when you're working in property management, you can't leave the building empty even when it is a public holiday. You have to work, things like that. It's also circumstantial because of the kind of job that I am doing now. Like Easter, I mean, yeah, Easter, yes. Easter, I was the one who manned the building during that time while my colleagues were having rest. So I could rest some other day. I don't even know if I actually rested. And then it was it was and then it was Christmas. Christmas, I actually rested 24th, which was a work. Okay, it was a weekday. 25th, I rested, and then 26th, I was back just because I had to man the building. While the person who was there from 24th and 25th, who sacrificed time to be away from their family, also had to have that whole. Actually, I had to like let them also go and be with their family at least, regardless of the fact that everyone else was still at home, or everyone else, usually has time to come back to office after first. But I worked through first. So yes, I do know that I have perpetuated this whole thing of I work and I give so much to this whole work thing. I don't think I'll ever stop being that self because even in the season that I am in, I'm in the season where I am trying to build a lot, and a lot of things are failing, but I still need to find a way to make it work. I have to do more in this season. It's not about being insensitive. It is about chasing these whole things that, are going to literally determine how I spend my 30s, my 40s, and 50s, because this is the time that I am using to build the life that I'm going to have at 30, the time I'm going to have at 40. But I definitely, definitely do not want that thing perpetuated in me. I don't know how to solve it and still be as active as I am. So I did end up going for the burial. I do find times last year actually found at least 2 weekends whereby I went home, visited my mom and everything, but this year, well, this year is really bad. Track record is really terrible so far. I didn't go home for Easter. Considering the fact that she has been to visit me, I haven't been to visit her, the other side. So I don't know. That is a really big challenge for me that I don't know how to balance it, and I don't know if there is a whole thing to balancing it, but I know I will definitely regret not spending this time with my family. But is it a cost that I'm willing to pay? I also don't know. So I don't know. You guys, maybe you can help me. What do you think? How do you balance it? Are you guys facing the same problem, or should I just quit my second business or something like that? Anyway, that was just a rant that I don't know. I've always told you guys this is a therapy session for me. So yeah, that was definitely therapy. Okay, and then on to three. This one was more of a statement, but I want to twist it. So just get me right, eh? So the statement was, yes, I am a fraud. I am an imposter. So what? Like it's this whole bold Nike, yes, I am, you know, I want to win. Yes, I am hungry. So what? It's not bad. So you see, everyone says don't let imposter syndrome hold you back. But just entertain this thought. What if that feeling is actually right? You know? What if you're actually a fraud? What if you're actually an imposter? You're not ready for that opportunity. What if you don't really know enough? What if you are not actually as qualified as you think? So instead of fighting it, what if we embraced it? You just say to yourself, yes, I am a fraud. I am not as qualified as I should be. I am going to do ABCD to get better. Instead of saying I'm going to pass, I'm going to fight imposter syndrome and putting on this fake front that is ideally not even justifiable. I mean, yes, there is fake it until you make it, but you can only fake it so far. Just say, yes, I am. You face it head on, you meet the fear and confront it, and then you say to yourself, so what? So it's this whole paradox that you try to put yourself in a mental state whereby it doesn't matter, that you're going to do it anyway, and you're going to do the work to be that person. And the truth actually is that most people are making it up as they go. Like literally everyone out there is not as qualified as they should be for some of those positions that they have. The difference is that some don't let the doubt stop them, while the others just push through. They just grind through. They are just like tractors going through everything. So while some of us are here hung up on fighting imposter syndrome, there are those ones that are self-diagnosing. They are looking at us who are self-pitying ourselves, and they are just, they feel sad for us. So anyway, just don't be that person that is self-diagnosing and looking for pity while people are getting things done. Why can't it be you? Just cut out that excuse. Stop feeling sorry for yourself that you don't have to, or you don't have X, or you don't have Y. Just get to work. It's true. Yes, so what? So now I can do this. So now I can continue to do this. So just maybe, I don't know if you guys can entertain that thought, but what if we just addressed life that way? It could work. I'm just saying. Okay, on to the next one. Number 4 is different forms of networking. So this one actually came to me when I was reflecting on how to grow the business and everything. And one of the ways I try to market and everything is through networking. So now I realized it was actually just a random thought that came to me that networking is not a one size fits all. And what I mean is that it depends on the game you are playing. I used to ask myself why some people that I know are not on LinkedIn, and then other people are on LinkedIn. And then I realized if you are in the private sector, which is more performance based, your value is in the results that you publicize and you do. So LinkedIn is a very good avenue to put yourself out there and have a public, I should say, a public, not a brand, but a public persona that people know, okay, these are the projects he has been involved with, case studies. If you have a direct pitch, if you have, it's just this whole CV that you build on LinkedIn that is very, I should say, relevant in the private sector. You will see people always celebrating this and that. That's what LinkedIn is for, you know? Just because the private sector is performance based, it works best there. So it would be a good avenue to network. You get it? But if you are in the public sector, so I'm talking okay, not technicians. Sorry. I'm talking politicians, I'm talking guys in government. These guys, their form of networking is more people based. You get it? What I mean is that you'll see these guys are meeting in offices, they are meeting at functions, what, things like that. Even you just look at American politics as an example. The governors are always having dinners and fundraising, things like that, just because it is people based, Here it is about who you know, and who you know really matters more than what you know or what you do, like in the private sector. Networking happens in those clubs, the restaurants, the events. It's all about being seen, heard, and connected. While in the private sector, it's all about what you do, results. Okay, it's also about, yes, who you know, but it's not just important. It's not that much important. So I just wanted to kind of highlight this difference that I think I'm a genius for discovering. But anyway, I think everyone else already knows it. But yeah, private sector, performance based, public sector, people based. So yeah, that's the whole takeaway. Just know that when you are building relationships, when you are networking, it is going to be different according to who you are. That's why you will see that ministers are not networking or posting a lot on Instagram, Insta, things like that. But you will see a lot of CEOs on those platforms just because it is dynamic and different. With government guys, they are in offices, they are at graduation parties, workshops, those government workshops. That's their cup of tea. So wherever you go or wherever you are, don't mistake what networking is for you. If you're moving from the private sector now, for example, to the public, you're being used to your LinkedIn brother or sister. Yeah, not to be sexist. LinkedIn is not going to work as much for you. When you're in government, you actually need to go shake hands, make deals with people, do all that shady stuff we see in cards and everything. And the Oval, you guys, shows have just spoiled politics for me. Anyway, let's move on to the next one before I get derailed. Number 5 is don't play with people's bread. So this one is a lesson I actually had to learn the hard way. So about a year back, I was given the honor of actually leading a new site. So actually not a year back, I think like more than half a year. Considering that I left that site and actually left everything in general. So this was what happened. So I was managing a team that I found already in place. You get it? But everything that they were doing was wrong. Okay, not everything, but a lot, like 90% of what they were doing was wrong. And they knew it is wrong. There are things that you find a team doing and you're like, okay, we are going to scrap this and we're going to do this. And then you see I should say the friction. Now, the problem in that statement, or I mean, the problem in that situation was I was brought in as middle management. Okay. So above me, there were two sorts of arrangements. There was the company, yes, that brought me in, and then there was the stakeholders. So these are two different entities that have different interests. The company that has brought me in, their interest is to actually turn around the property and help the stakeholders to make a profit and everything. The stakeholders are already used to these people on site, and they already have this relationship and they have this, I should say, form of communication that I don't have. You get it? So when I am trying to implement something and they have resistance, they have more leverage talking to the stakeholders who can at the end influence the company that brought me in, who at the end have to either compromise or, and it wasn't a form that they were always compromising or anything, but it was just very hard to implement the right systems, to get people to do the right things, just because they either thought they had the backing of the most important party, or that everything at the end of it all was inconsequential. And I just hated the kind of environment that was. So when I started to push back, you get it, just because you guys, I don't want to be bullied around. Okay, let's just be factual. I don't want to be bullied around. I have done the work. When I got into that position, I had actually earned it. I have worked my ass off. You get it? So I am not going to let people that are doing the wrong thing get away with it. I'm not going to let people that are not get away with it. I'm not the sort of person that is going to turn a blind eye to things just because, that has been the norm. No, I mean, we can. So when I started to push back on a few things, which I am calling playing with people's brain. In other words, what I'm saying is I put their jobs at risk, because I mean that is what is needed to turn around a company. Not necessarily threatening people's livelihood and everything, but you need to institute this front that, you know what, you guys, you're either going to change or you're going to leave this. Boy, did people start fighting me. I had more stress in that period than I have ever had. And it was just in this whole situation whereby even when I tried to appeal to whoever was above me, there wasn't so much support coming from there, just because of the whole dynamic that was created. So I either the solutions I thought about was either for the good of the site, because me, that was all that was like at top of mind. For the good of the business is bigger than everyone else. For the good of the business, we either all leave or we all sit on one table and agree. You get it? Everyone gives their side of the story. But I mean, none of that was happening. The discussion wasn't happening. So the other thing was, all of us have to leave, And then the third option is one of the party, takes out the other. And I wasn't willing to play you know, that head game. So I ended up leaving. Yes. But what I was just trying to say from this whole story that I've jumbled up and everything is that when you play with people's bread, expect that they'll fight back. You're not going to have an easy way out when people have their jobs on the line, when people have their livelihoods on the line. They are going to do nasty things. They are going to do very nasty things. They are going to frame you for things. And you're going to look at something and be like, okay, wow. I mean, there is going below the bar, but this was very low, even for you as a non-performer, as this sort of character that I have gone to know over the time. So it was a really good experience to learn from, that I think is very relevant right now, because I intend to build more businesses. I tend to work with a lot more people. It is good that I've got this experience at the beginning, other than naively going into a business. Let me say, when I'm 28, it's my own business and I'm letting these kind of activities go ahead. No, I am definitely going to put my foot forward when that sort of thing is happening. And I have had this experience that I think puts me in a better position to manage it the next time it happens, and actually to see it before I actually take on the next role that puts me in such a similar position. So yeah, I just wanted to relate that story. I'm sorry I can't give as many examples to sort of clear up the thing, but I hope you guys understood the whole concept. And then I'll go on to number 6, which is actually something I picked up on YouTube. It was a story by Mr. Charles Mbire. So, for those that don't know, this guy is a Ugandan businessman. He is a very wealthy Ugandan businessman. He is a stakeholder in MTN Uganda. And the YouTube video was titled How uh, Charles Mbire started MTN Uganda, and the story of MTN Uganda. Yes, the story of MTN Uganda by Charles Mbire. So I think he was at an entrepreneur conference or something like that, and he told the story of how he started out, how he reached out to the guys in MTN in South Africa, told them of the market in Uganda, how he has helped to build a business to Tanzania, to Rwanda, and all that. And I was like, okay, you know what? This is a really nice story that everyone needs to listen to, because okay, just for context, his story was filled with knowing the right people, doing the right things, and I just like the ethics that he has. You get it? Like, you could see it from the way he was speaking, you could see it from the examples, from what he actually said. He wasn't afraid to say that, you know what, I don't like this that government is doing, just because not very many people are that bold to go ahead and criticize power or anything like that, or other people. But he was confident in what he was saying. He was very, very articulate. Wow, this guy just speaks so nicely. And it has just gotten me in this thing where I am just more interested in him. So until recently, I didn't actually I knew him, yes, but I didn't actually follow him and everything. If I could say there was one person that I have been actively following for the past few years, it has been Patrick Bitature. Now I have added Charles Mbiri to that list because just wow. Anyway, his advice in that talk was very practical. He wasn't afraid to say it or shy away from, shooting some stray bullets. And I like his acknowledgement of how mindset is important. That was also something good that he talked about. So definitely going to rotate about him and his philosophy more. And I guess I just want you guys to also just go and check him out if you are in Uganda. If you're not, I mean, he's just a good story. He's not Elon Musk, but I think he's actually better because he's more grounded. He's not richer, but he's a good he's a good person to look up to. Okay, and then number, I should say 7. Yes, and I hope lastly, yeah. So number 7 is I used everything you gave me. So this was a quote that is inspired by Erma Bombeck. I don't know if I am spelling or pronouncing it right. Anyway, it is Erma, so that's the first name, and then Bombeck, which is Bombeck. So I just wanted to share this quote as we conclude this episode. The full thing and how he said it is that when I stand before God at the end of my life, I would hope that I would not have a single bit of talent left, and I could say, I used everything you gave me. So, reading that again. When I stand before God at the end of my life, I would hope that I would not have a single bit of talent left, and that I could say, I used everything you gave me. You guys, that's a quote. I mean, that quote speaks to a lot of things that I try to articulate every day in this podcast, purpose, impact. That is literally what I want to do. You see, I am so hung up on doing a lot of things that I am afraid I won't get to do many of them by the time I leave. But I hope that at the end, and I am really trying that at the end, I can confidently say this. It really hits hard, but I think this is the best way to close this podcast. I just wanted to share that, and to share that sentiment that I believe we could all benefit by having and striving for this thing, reaching the end and being truly satisfied with the person that you were and what you were able to do. I think of it as that real peace. There is this rest in peace that we are always wishing onto others. But I think that would be the real personification, or the real ideation of rest in peace. I want that. I don't want to leave anything behind, not a dream, not a gift, not a conversation. And I know it is impossible, but at least I'll do my best to do the ones that really matter. I don't want to leave anything behind that I should have done, I should have had, that I was afraid to do. Wherever I have been given, I want whatever I have been given, I want to squeeze it dry, like literally. And I would encourage us to just live knowing that, we weren't put on this earth to play it safe, to take back the coins, like the parable of the gold coins. I don't know if I'm quoting it right, but yeah. This parable of the master that gave his 3 servants coins, and then the one that was given the least went and hid it, and then the little was given to the ones that had more. I want to go back to the Lord our God, or to leave this earth when I have used everything he gave me, and I have given as much impact as I can. And I want to encourage all of us, to live that way, to use whatever you have got, use it while you can, because when it's over, I don't want us to wonder what could have happened, what we could have done. I want us to know that we gave it our all. And that's where I want to end this podcast today. So thank you for listening to this episode of the 5 to 9 Job podcast. I hope you found value in it. And please, 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 we are trying to grow. It really helps us when you like, you comment, and you rate the podcast on wherever you are listening to. So please hit that follow button, like, please comment, and share it with someone else. My name is Raymond from the 5 to 9 Job, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.